How is everyone doing today? I'm doing great because, well, I have another day to talk Philadelphia Phillies baseball with all of you. It's a pleasure each and every single day. You guys mean the world to me, and you guys know that. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Hennelly. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. And if you want, you can go follow me on my socials. I always have it here at the beginning of each video. Mike Hen Sports on Instagram or Hennelly19 on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I also have TikTok where I post some sports-related content as well and some other just random kind of funny, quirky, kind of almost cringeworthy that makes it funny kind of content as well. That is Michael.Hennelly, I believe it is. So if you want to hit me up on those socials and see my other kind of content that I put out there, sports related and other stuff related, then go ahead and give them a follow or just go check them out. You guys, again, mean the world to me. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Now, I've talked about this before, but I just wanted to remind you because of this ongoing JT Realmuto contract saga situation. Now, at the end of the day, this is a business. The ultimate goal is to win baseball games, is to win a World Series championship. Anything less than that is a failure. Any season you go out there to play a game, you're just failing not only your organization, your franchise, your owner, anybody involved with your organization, the fans, the city, everything, but you're just failing. It's just a complete failure if you're not making the playoffs, if you're not winning a World Series, or if you're not winning a championship in any sport. So, again, winning is the ultimate goal. Emotions, yes, you're going to develop emotions and kind of a personal almost attachment to these players. They're your favorite players. They're playing on your favorite team. If they're doing well for a sustained amount of time for many, many years, then yeah, you're going to really like them. They've obviously helped your team a lot. But, again, at the end of the day, you got to make tough decisions when those decisions are ready to be made. And the Phillies have one of those decisions this offseason, and they're really standing firm with their kind of thought process into it, and that is not really giving into JT Realmuto. JT Realmuto obviously is holding out for whatever it may be, whether it's more money, whether it's an extra year, just something more guaranteed. I don't know, but the Phillies are standing firm with their offer or offers that they've offered to JT Realmuto to this point. He's still holding out. Spring training starts next month. So you got to imagine that something's going to happen, whether he signs here back with the Phillies relatively soon or joins a new team, because catcher is a very important position, especially for the early parts of spring training, getting on the right foot, on the right mindset with your pitchers, your pitching staff. You got to be able to work with them. You got to know what works for them, their pitches, how to call their games, and all that kind of stuff. So a JT Realmuto decision, whether it's with the Phillies or not, it's going to have to come soon. So my personal opinion, you guys probably know this if you've been following along here long enough at Phillies Daily this offseason. I love JT Realmuto, but simply don't overpay for JT Realmuto. He is not worth it at this point. Yes, I love him. Yes, he was the best catcher in baseball for multiple years here with the Phillies, but now he's going to be 35 years old for the 2026 season. Definitely a shell of his former self. Not the same guy, nowhere near the same guy he used to be offensively. Not the same guy he was defensively. Yes, he's great with the pitching staff, but ultimately, if you're paying a guy $15+ million a year who's 35 years old, who's only going to keep on getting worse as that contract goes on for a multi-year deal, it's just not worth the price. So if he doesn't budge and he doesn't accept what you already offered him, don't overpay for him. Move on. Put that money elsewhere to help improve your team and just go on with it. Yes, it'll be sad to not have JT Realmuto here, but again, just not the same guy he used to be. And maybe you have your own thoughts and opinions about that, but at the end of the day, he is simply not the same JT Realmuto in any aspect of his game that he was a few years ago, and when he had that run for a few years of being regarded as the best catcher in baseball. Speaking of JT Realmuto, now the Phillies have an offer there. He doesn't accept it for whatever reason. I don't know, but Jim Bowden, he's one of the more well-known and respected MLB insiders and all that kind of whatever you want to call him. But he recently went on and sang, and I believe in a podcast or YouTube video or something, or a radio station, I don't know, but regardless, Jim Bowden, he was talking about the Phillies and the JT Realmuto contract kind of standoff this offseason, how both sides aren't really agreeing to what either side wants, and they're kind of just sitting here waiting for one side to give in. So Phillies firm on their offer, Realmuto holding out still. Jim Bowden said Realmuto doesn't really have many options to this point in free agency. Again, we're getting really close to spring training. It's just next month. So a decision really has to be made, and he has to make a decision on his future, whether it's with the Phillies or not. And Jim Bowden said, quote, when talking about this contract situation. I don't think Realmuto has a lot of options. I have not heard of a single team that is in on Realmuto right now. Again, he's going to be 35 years old in a few months before the 2026 season, or right at the start of the 2026 season. And again, just declining offensively, defensively, and it's only going to get worse as he keeps on aging, and he wants this multi-year, 2 to 3 year deal worth $15+ million, most likely is what the number is at. So kind of showing that JT Realmuto's market is not what he thought it would be going into this offseason, and he's probably going to have to accept this Phillies offer. Or, in my opinion, again, if that price is too much right now, the Phillies should just back out, go after a different option, whether it's a trade. I mentioned in my previous video, trading for a young catcher like Edgar Caro of the Chicago White Sox. There's other trade options as well that you could go after. Give Rafael Marchand finally a chance to prove himself as an everyday kind of catcher. And if not, you can sign a veteran who isn't going to be much worse than JT Realmuto at this point to platoon or be Rafael Marchand's backup here in 2026. And ultimately, you're probably going to get the same production out of two of those guys combined as you would JT Realmuto for far less money here in 2026. I love JT Realmuto, but again, I think it's best for the team to move on. And again, you think with your mind, not with your heart in these situations. Again, we all love these players, but you got to come to a realization point that just not simply the same guy that he used to be. And do the Phillies have the upper hand with JT Realmuto right now in these contract negotiations? I believe so. I believe they almost even played a game with JT Realmuto with their recent kind of significant interest that they've had in all-star infielder free agent, formerly with the Toronto Blue Jays, Bo Bichette. Yes, maybe they are very in on Bo Bichette. They're trying to sign him to win a World Series championship. He'd be a great get in his prime, 27, 28 years old. Two-time All-Star. He can hit 300 for a season. He can hit 20, 25 plus home runs. He can get close to or more than 100 RBIs. He's got some speed. He's a pretty solid defender. So a lot to like about Bo Bichette if you go after him. But the Phillies simply don't have that much money to be able to really make that move work unless you make a lot of other moves as well to kind of free up some money. But again, they're a big market team, so they can make things like that work. But with that recent interest, with JT Realmuto still holding out for his contract, maybe the Phillies are kind of playing a game with JT Realmuto, kind of saying him and baiting him to accept an offer sooner, or maybe even take less than what he was originally looking for to make this deal happen. Because, as Jim Bowden said, doesn't really feel like there's a lot of options, not many teams in, or maybe not even a single team in on JT Realmuto right now as we're getting closer and closer to spring training. If he wants a job, he's got to make a decision soon. And maybe the Phillies, by having this significant interest, having this meeting with Bo Bichette earlier this week, could be a game that they're playing with JT Realmuto to speed up his decision process and ultimately get JT Realmuto back here for the 2026 season. Now, Bo Bichette obviously would be a significant long-term commitment, a lot of money. As I said, they would also have to forfeit 2 draft picks and international bonus pool money because Bo Bichette was offered a qualifying offer by the Toronto Blue Jays this offseason. He declined. So with any player that gets offered a qualifying offer for that season in the offseason by their former team, if they end up signing with a different team, that team that they sign with has to forfeit draft picks, certain draft picks depending on the situation, and like in certain situations, international bonus pool money. So the Phillies would have to surrender some assets to sign Bo Bichette, not only giving him a massive contract, long-term financial commitment, but as well as draft picks and international bonus pool money, which they do value as well. So we'll see what happens, but obviously not enough money to sign both of them. So maybe the Phillies are playing a game of trying to force JT Realmuto to finally make a decision, or maybe they're actually just significantly interested in signing Bo Bichette, and then they move on from JT Realmuto at the end. And honestly, that is better for the Phillies if they want to win a World Series championship now and still have a better opportunities down the line for 5 or so more years with Bo Bichette and some of these other guys still around. But who am I to say? I'm not in the Phillies management. I'm not the one making these decisions. I'm just simply giving my thoughts and opinions and how I would go about this if I were in that opinion. Speaking of free agency, the Phillies still might not be done adding. Again, interested in Bo Bichette. Could be interested in signing other guys or even trading for guys as well. They've been linked to a lot of guys this offseason. They made some moves. They made some trades. They made some free agent signings. But there's still some impact players out there, as we all know, even below that top tier guys like the Bo Bichettes, like the Kyle Tuckers, like the Cody Bellingers. And then there's other guys tier below them, other guys tier below them. One of those guys, Nick Martinez. He's a 35-year-old right-handed pitcher, so an older veteran guy. He's been around for a while. He had a 17-30 record with a 4.77 ERA in 88 games, including 68 starts with the Texas Rangers from 2014 to 2017 to begin his major league career. Then he took some time off from the major leagues. He pitched in Japan for the next 4 years from 2018 to 2021 before returning to the majors in 2022 with the San Diego Padres. He was there for 2 years. He had a 10-8 record with a 3.45 ERA in 110 games with the Padres, including 19 starts in those 2 years. So a lot better than his first stint with the Rangers in those first 4 years to start his major league career after he pitched in Japan. Looked a lot better as a pitcher in Major League Baseball with the Padres and kind of shifted more towards a reliever role. He's still a swingman type of guy, but a lot more appearances out of the bullpen than in the starting rotation like he did to start his career with the Texas Rangers. And then the previous 2 years, in 2024 and 2025, Nick Martinez had been playing with the Cincinnati Reds. 21-21 record there over the last 2 years with the Reds. A 3.83 ERA in 82 games, including 42 starts. So again, still a swingman type of guy out of the bullpen, out of the starting rotation when needed. Career high 4.0 B-WAR in 2024 with the Reds. He had a very good season that year. He was 11-14 with a 4.45 ERA, however, and 116 strikeouts in 165 2/3 innings. This past year in 2025 with the Reds, 40 games, 26 starts. So a little bit more appearances in the starting rotation or just starting games as opposed to out of the bullpen, but still a guy that's being utilized in both roles. Swingman, he's the definition of a swingman pitcher here in Major League Baseball, especially over the last few years, 4 years since coming back from Japan. He did accept a $21.05 qualifying offer, $21.05 million, I should say, qualifying offer from the Reds for this past year in 2025. So a lot of money he was paid this past year. Definitely going to take a large and sizable pay cut for whatever contract he signs with whatever team this offseason heading into the 2026 season. So Spot Track has him projected at a $14.3 million salary, annual average value salary here. They had him on a 2-year deal, so multi-year deal, short-term deal for Nick Martinez. They're projected him at $14.3 million. I even think he'll likely get less than that due to his age. He's 35 years old. His production kind of dipped in 2025 compared to years prior. And obviously the market, a lot of these relievers, high-end relievers got paid quick this offseason. A lot of them got a lot of money. Some other guys that are probably younger and probably better at this point than Nick Martinez even got less money than he is projected here at $14.3 million. So I think he's more in the range of like probably $10 million to $12 million for a 1-year or 2-year deal for Nick Martinez. And if the Phillies value that, they want to add another guy to their bullpen. They want to add another guy with starting experience if they need somebody to be a valuable swingman. Obviously, they have Taijuan Walker in that role. He's in the starting rotation bullpen mostly and a lot better in the bullpen as of late this past year, especially in 2025. They tried to sign Joe Ross, the veteran, last year. Didn't work out. They ended up getting rid of him before the season was over. Nick Martinez, in my opinion, is definitely a better option than Taijuan Walker and Joe Ross. So if they want a valuable, impactful, and experienced swingman pitcher, right-handed guy, then Nick Martinez could be the guy for them if they're set on not making any of these major moves like signing a Bo Bichette. Obviously, if you sign Bo Bichette, you probably don't have money to bring in Nick Martinez, but that's another option if they don't sign a big guy like this in free agency to still improve your club and get another quality arm here on the pitching staff. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. You guys mean the world, as you know. Make sure you guys are commenting. It's fun. It's more fun and engaging when you guys do that. No matter if you agree or disagree with me or disagree with others in the comments section. That's what sports and entertainment's all about. It's so much more fun that way. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, go Phils.